afternoon, everyone. Today's Tuesday, September 5th of 2023. My name is Fran Kelleher, and I'm Vice Chair of the Housing Opportunities Commission of Montgomery County's Board of Commissioners. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us for this afternoon's public hearing regarding administration of stability vouchers, which is a new kind of voucher that HUD has offered to us. Today's meeting will be conducted both in person here at Dietrich Avenue headquarters, as well as virtually on YouTube. The Housing Opportunity Commission is proposing to adopt new policy for administration of 25 stability vouchers and to modify the administrative plan to accommodate the new policy for these new vouchers. In accordance with federal regulations, the proposed revisions to the HOC administrative plan require a public notification and comment period, in addition to approval by HOC's Board of Commissioners. This hearing serves as the culmination of the public comment period, allowing residents, community members, and others to have the opportunity to voice their opinions on HOC's proposed policy and the revisions to its administrative plan. On August 2nd of 2023, HOC made available a draft of the proposed revisions to its administrative plan regarding the housing stability vouchers. The draft document is available to review on HOC's website and has been during this time period. Notification regarding today's public hearing, as well as the availability of the draft plan, was published in two general additional publications, one being the Washington Post and the other being Washington Hispanic. Staff have received endorsement for the proposed policy and changes to the administrative plan from HOC's Resident Advisory Board. The Commission and HOC staff look forward to continuing to work with the public to ensure that HOC satisfies its affordable housing goals. At this point, I would like to introduce Lynn Hayes, Director of Housing Resource Division, and Gita Lim, Assistant Director of Housing Resource Division, who will provide us with a summary of the plan and changes to the administrative plan.
Good afternoon. For the record, I'm Lynn Hayes, the Director of the Housing Resources Division. The Department of Housing and Urban Development awarded the Housing Opportunities Commission 25 stability vouchers made available through the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. Applicants eligible to receive stability vouchers must be an individual or family who is homeless, at risk of homelessness, fleeing or attempting to flee domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, stalking, or human trafficking, and veterans and families that include a veteran family member that meet one of the preceding criteria. The Continuum of Care, the local planning body responsible for coordinating the full range of homeless services, is responsible for referring eligible applicants to the Housing Opportunities Commission and verifying that the applicant meets one of the four eligibility categories. The Department of Health and Human Services is the designated continuum of care for Montgomery County. HOC must enter into a memorandum of understanding with the continuum of care to establish a partnership to pair stability vouchers with continuum of care funded supportive services. HOC is required to apply mandatory alternative requirements to the stability voucher program, which include accepting direct referrals from the continuum of care, maintaining a separate wait list for stability voucher referrals at initial leasing and turnover, waiving the local residency requirement to live or work in Montgomery County, waiving income targeting requirements. HOC may serve families with income levels up to 80% of the area median income, issuing the initial voucher for a term of 120 days, approving a lease term for less than 12 months, regardless of whether the shorter term is a prevailing market practice, and allowing stability voucher families to port their voucher right away. The 12-month stay period is waived for families at the time of the stability voucher application. Moreover, HOC cannot deny admission to the stability voucher program for any of the following reasons. If a family member has been evicted or terminated from federally assisted housing, if the family owes rent or other amounts owed to a public housing authority in connection with Section 8 or public housing assistance, if the family has not reimbursed any public housing authority for amounts paid to an owner under a housing assistance payments contract for rent, damages to the unit, or other amounts owed by the family under the lease, if the family breached an agreement with a public housing authority to pay amounts owed to a public housing authority or amounts paid to an owner by a public housing authority, if the family would otherwise be prohibited admission under alcohol abuse standards established by HOC, and if HOC determines that any household member is currently engaged in or has engaged in drug-related criminal activity during a reasonable time before admission. Additionally, HOC is electing to adopt the following discretionary policies contingent on commission approval at the next HOC board meeting on September 13th, 2023. Using stability vouchers to facilitate an emergency transfer in accordance with the Violence Against Women Act Emergency Transfer Plan, pre-inspecting units to create a pool of eligible stability voucher families may be interested in leasing, waiving the initial certification exam and accepting income calculations and verifications from third-party providers or from an examination that HOC conducted for another subsidized housing program within the last 6 months, if the family has not had a change of income, waiving third-party income verifications and accepting self-certification as the highest form of income verification at program admission, waiving the requirement to obtain verification of a social security number and verification of eligible immigration status prior to program admission and accepting the required documentation within 180 days of admission, waiving the requirement to obtain date of birth and disability status prior to program admission and accepting self-certification. Verification must be received within 90 days of program admission. Additionally, HOC will establish permissive prohibitions of admission for the stability voucher program if any household member is currently engaged in or has engaged in criminal activity within the last 12 months, if any household member has engaged in criminal activity which may threaten the health, safety, or right to peaceful enjoyment of the premise by other residents or persons residing in the immediate vicinity within the last 12 months, if any household member has committed fraud, bribery, or any other corrupt or criminal act in connection with any federal housing program within the previous 12 months, and if any household member has engaged in or threatened abusive or violent behavior towards HOC personnel within the last 12 months. The aforementioned mandatory and permissive waivers will be added to the HOC administrative plan contingent on approval from the HOC Board of Commissioners at the next board meeting on September 13th, 2023. In closing, the Stability Voucher Program is designed to promote a community-wide commitment to the goal of ending homelessness while promoting access to mainstream programs for our most vulnerable families and individuals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also with me here today is Executive Director Andrews. Executive Director Andrews, would you like to add any comments about how this helps HOC fulfill its mission to the community?
Yes, well, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the public. We are fortunate to continue to have an opportunity to provide resources by way of HUD issuing additional vouchers to us. This is a continuation of how we've worked hand in hand with HHS. We look forward to continuing that partnership and allowing individuals who are experiencing homelessness, as well as those who might have been impacted by domestic violence, to have access to resources. So thank you for your support in this initiative.
Thank you. There were not any people who had signed up in advance to speak today. Is there anyone else who would like to address this public hearing or to make statements or comments on the stability voucher policy and administrative plan? No? With that, then HOC, having received no public comments via mail or email regarding the stability vouchers, the public hearing is now complete and the record, which has been open for 30 days, is now closed. We thank everyone for their support of this program.